everyone. I'm Akanksha Kamath, Fashion Features Director of Vogue India, and I'm so excited to kick off today's panel. We'll be speaking to three exceptional creatives who use style and jewelry as a form of self-expression. We are excited to have with us today a man who needs no introduction. Tan France is a global fashion guru and a style whisperer, inspiring the next generation to be unapologetically themselves. We also have with us the revolutionary designer Khouri, a woman whose bold minimalist designs are seen on celebrities from the Olsen twins to Nicole Kidman. And lastly, on our panel today is the lovely Hanut Singh, a man who creates worlds within worlds, bridging the modern and the ancient to evoke a timelessness in jewelry that has even made Madonna a fan. Hi, everyone. It's so great to have you here.
Thank you. Hello.
So today we're going to be exploring the rise of self-expressors and why fashion and accessories are an important tool in discovering and embracing your individual style. We find out how these three visionaries have grown into the people they are today, using and wearing diamonds distinctively. And I have to say, I mean, all of you and your jewelry is on point today. Well done. You know, whether it's in Queer Eye or in Next in Fashion, you have helped so many people find their style, and it is a process. And I mean, you make us laugh along the way, and, you know, there are some, you know, snipes along the way, but it's a lot of fun. And I wanted to understand from you that, you know, fashion and jewelry can be such a beautiful thing once you embrace it, but you come across people who are inhibited or they face challenges. What do you think keeps people away from finding their own style?
You know, style is something that I think the amount of times I've heard somebody say you're either born with it or you're not. That I couldn't disagree more. I think that everyone has an opportunity to find style. They just, whether they're excited about it or not, dictates whether they do find their own style or not. I think that a lot of people struggle finding their own style because they don't really understand what that's going to do for them. I think so many people assume that style is frivolous, it's shallow, who cares? I would like to believe what we've shown on our show, the shows that I'm on, and many people within our industry who are in the public eye are finally showing that this does affect the way you perceive yourself and the way that others perceive you. And there's so much power in great style. When somebody says that they don't know how to express their style, for me, it's a really easy thing. I give them very simple tools, and the basic one is, who are you inspired by? What are you inspired by? Use that as your reference. So let's say, for example, if somebody was starting at zero, they had never thought about style, they don't shop, I'd say, what do you want to convey, and who is it out there, whether it's a cricketer or a politician or a pop star or an actor, who makes you feel something when you see them dressed? And when you go shopping, think of that person. And there are so many ways we can play with style now. We have access to Instagram and TikTok that gives us so much inspiration. So we don't have to fit into that cookie cutter mold that we used to fit into. We would see the catalog, we'd go to a store. Now we're inspired by millions upon millions of people to really express ourselves in really unique ways, which I think is fascinating. So finding style at this point, I think, should be easy.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that you mentioned social media, because if anyone goes into my saved folder, they'll know exactly which outfits I'm buying next.
Yeah, same. I mean, I'm constantly on social. It's how I find the majority of my inspiration. And so when somebody says these days they don't know where to find inspiration, you have it at your fingertips.
Yeah, absolutely. And Anna, I have to speak to you about your jewelry. You know, it's an extension of somebody as a person. And I feel like it also comes a lot from who you are as a person. You know, you have that sculptural background, and you bring, you know, you make wearable art. That word has been used ad nauseum, but, you know, it really applies to you. How do you, you know, was this a vision that you always had, that it needs to be like an extension to someone?
Yes. So about the wearable art, I graduated in fine arts and I specialized in sculpture. So for me, it was where it started. And I start my creative process and the way I think, and for me to be creative, when I think about jewelry, my process, I start creating from the sculptures. So I sculpt and I create the volume, and that's how I think, and that's how I have the feeling of where I want to get to with the forms and the shapes. And from that sculpture, from that piece, I then transform it into jewelry. And that can be, today I work on mostly one-of-a-kind pieces, but I also do editions that you can find at the Row. But basically I said this, why? Because the inspiration behind is all on art. So the idea of making one-of-a-kind, the idea of making editions and creating it by the shapes and forms of sculpture. But then when you say, was it always this way? And you also said about like the individuality and how that translates. It also has something to do with what you guys were saying about knowing thyself and knowing like the styles and knowing who you are. And I think jewelry has this ability also, as the clothes, as everything, as almost kind of being out there and expressing the love, expressing the identity, expressing yourself through how you're gonna. So I started playing with the ear cuffs because I didn't really want something to hang so low. So we do the ear cuffs wearing natural diamonds. So I have a drop of diamond, or sometimes I have something a little bit more bold, and then the diamonds on the side.
So beautiful.
Thank you.
Tan, this is when you want to be like, shock the look, right? On your
Literally,
screen.
is it? I was looking, thinking, we've got the award shows coming up very soon. I need something. When you are designing your one-off pieces, are you designing with a person in mind? Like, are you designing for someone, or is it just your vision and you just hope someone's going to love it?
Most of the time it's just my vision, and I hope someone's going to love it, because it's almost like reinventing my style all the time. I show twice a year only, and I either do it at TIFF of New York, or I do it at a museum, or it's something really special around it, and I show the piece of sculpture that led to it. So it's always, you can understand there's a story behind. It's almost like an installation. But I also, with my clients, with someone that it's already a client of mine, I will also work for a piece for them.
Sure.
I saw your beautiful TFAF show. It was so spectacular.
Thank you, Hanut.
Oh my God, I was drooling.
Thank you. I'm also a fan of your work. Our work is very different, but I love to appreciate and understand the worlds around, each one, and where we come from and what we're trying to say, and the originality between each work, and how
it informs our work, where we come from, who we are, our cultures, what we've been brought up with, what sort of sparks our imagination, our mind. I mean, that's what informs the work.
Then I've got a really quick follow-up question. When you say it inspires your work, when you guys are designing, do you see the natural diamond first and you think, I'm going to build around this? Or do you come up with your idea and then you factor it? Because
very clever question.
You're dripping in diamonds.
Very clever question, but I do, if I'm jumping in, I do it two ways. So either I find a natural diamond that I'm obsessed with, and then I work around it. Or I have a vision in my head of wanting to create something, and then I find the stones to match my very amateurish sketches. But I find the stones to match the design that I want to do. So it works two ways. Either you find the stone and you're in love with the stone and you work around that, or you have a design and then you sort of find stones to match.
I actually read, Hanut, about something you said in an interview, and you're like, your designs are like a cocktail. And I found it so interesting. You said it's a well-made cocktail, a mix of ideas tossed with architectural inspirations, shaken with abstract coloring, and then stirred with Art Nouveau and Deco helpings.
That's so nice. That's so nice.
But isn't it all about ideas, different inspirations? I'm obsessed with the Art Deco. We live in India, and you have the Art Deco, sort of the great Art Deco movement, designs all around us, Art Nouveau, as well as our own Indian jewelry, which is so potent, So when you grow up with all of this, even sort of the art in my home or the furniture, or it's all around us. So we imbibe that. And those ideas sort of crystallize in one's head, and you come up with something which has smatterings of sort of the deco or the, of different great movements. Yeah. And yeah, that's how my jewelry is born. It's so innate to who I am. Actually, I'm completely untrained, and it's sort of voluptuous jewelry, but yet it's also sort of architecturally simple, because I think I'm a guy designing. I can't do hugely embellished things. So it's a mixture of everything sort of coming together.
No, that's so true about like how you sort of, there's always enamel, then there's the diamonds, then there's the art deco. And I actually would love to know, I think of Madonna as the ultimate self-expressor.
That was a huge one for me.
And I want to know, what was the piece that she wore? Can you please describe it for us?
So I've been obsessed with her since I was like 10 years old. I mean, I would save my money and fly to see her to different parts of the world to see her perform. And she, she's so cross-driven. It was a cross, and then she wore it, and I had no idea. And then I saw it on her Instagram, and then she wore it over and over and over and over again. And then she wore something else in a music video. So it was all very organically done and very, very thrilling.
That's so nice when it's so organic, because then most of my things happen in that way. Then you know that it's truly someone really likes your work, and they're wearing it because they really identify with what you do.
They feel something. Yeah, you made them feel something when they wear it of their own volition. It's not just for an award show for one day. They wear it in their personal life. It makes them feel something. That's
the biggest thrill, to see. If we're talking about celebrities wearing things, it's the biggest thrill is either to see them wear it over and over again, then you've got it right, or when they pull your jewelry and then they keep coming back for more and more and more, then you know that they're comfortable in it, So which is a thrill.
Yeah.
Who would you say, Anna, is like one of your, a woman that you think, I mean, apart from yourself, I think you wear your jewelry the best, but apart from you, who do you think is really someone who expresses your jewelry, beautifully?
Well, it's hard to choose one person, to tell you the truth, because I think there are a lot of great girls out there, women that wear it so gratefully. And I think it's more of a way of thinking. I think the women who identify with my jewelry is a woman who's not trying to showcase the jewelry, but rather wear it for herself. So there's a lot of the jewels I make, they kind of mold to the body. So it's not like it's trying to show off as much as it is self-love, and you're adorning yourself, and there's all about, the care that goes into it. It's about one's having tea at their home and just putting their beautiful, their natural diamonds on, and of course going out. But there's also about, it's also about molding into the self and wearing one piece here and another one there, and not so much calling attention to it. So one is that type of client, which is the bling client. And we all know that client from far away. They all sit in the table and they have their big diamonds on their ear and Rivieras and all that. And it's all kind of like a money way. It's a way to express money, where you put your jewelry on, and it's kind of a way to say, I'm wearing this much $1,000, And then there is the client who really loves jewelry. She goes to the Met and she stops by the Egyptian part, and she's in love with the jewelry that was used, years ago, and the ring that is made of coral and just a little bit of gold, or not, maybe even not gold, but she's in love with the history of jewelry and how adorning it is, and how, you mold it to your body or not, but it's mostly about the design and the jewelry and the materials and the craftsmanship. So I think that's my client.
That's our favorite kind of client.
Yes.
The ones who have that running imagination and the love of jewels and craft.
And
my favorite thing at your TFAF show, those amazing necklaces in pink quartz and rock crystal. And
we've walked into a fan club. Some of them are like fans of each other.
She's heightened superb, Anna. She's heightened superb sculptural jewelry. Really
Thank you, but I do
master
believe
what
it's
she does.
about finding the balance with the materials and creating something unique more than just adding blings to it, because there comes a space, right? There comes a time where it's not about the value, but what you can create with everything that is out there in nature and everything that is so valuable and so rich, and just transform that into something that it's so well done that you have the right amount of weight, that it's not going to come down on your ear, that you have the right amount of everything, that it fits to your body.
What I hear you say a lot, Anna, is also almost comfort, like it's about being comfortable in your own skin and second skin. And I feel like Dan, I don't know if you agree with that, but style is so much about just, not feeling outside of your body at any time. Are you seeing this sort of younger generation kind of taking on style in a whole different way, and how are they embracing it?
Here's the thing. I'm guilty of not wearing things that are the most comfortable. For me, it's not about comfort in that sense. It's about comfort in wearing something that feels authentically you. So I think the word for me is more authenticity than it is comfort. And I think that that's what we're seeing in the younger generation. I mean, even the way they use accessories, diamonds, jewelry, they're getting a lot more playful. There are more blurred lines between masculine and feminine and what that means to a person, and the duality of being able to really express both sides of yourself. Yeah. And so I think that when it comes down to comfort or authenticity, I think we're at a point now that I've never seen in my lifetime, where we see people across the world really expressing themselves with the likes of jewelry and style to show who they are. Up to like 10 years ago, before we were using social media as much as we are now, I think it was so easy to get stuck in a rut and think, okay, I'm going to wear this outfit because this is what normal people wear. This is what feels conservative, or what the masses are wearing. And I think
the beige outfit.
Yeah. Whereas now, more than ever, I think people are doing all they can to stand out from the crowd as opposed to fitting in, and that's celebrated more than ever. And I think that jewelry, for me in particular, jewelry is a way of me really expressing myself. I'm guilty. It's interesting hearing Anna and Hanut speak about jewelry in two ways. That one client who is the bling bling, the other client who just feels desperately that they want to feel passionately about the art that they are wearing. I will say, I think I fall into both. And it depends on how I'm feeling. Sometimes I just think, I'm going to an event that's blingy. I'm going to an award show and I just want to look ridiculous. So I'm going to wear all the jewelry I can find and just be blingy. But then there's intimate moments when I go out to dinner with my husband or my friends, and I just think, I just want to wear the pieces that I love so much. I'm wearing one thing in particular, which my castmate Anthony gave to me. It's diamonds on here and a diamond there.
That's beautiful.
I love it so much, and I wear that. For me, it's usually under the whatever I'm wearing. And he purchased it for me, or gifted it to me when I had my son. And it felt really special that one of my very best friends, my co-host,
That's amazing.
Lovely.
There's times when I want to wear something that really helps me celebrate the craftsmanship and the intimacy of that piece. And then there's sometimes when I just think, I want to go bold, and I just want.
And that's fine too. It depends on the way you're feeling and how you are.
It's all dictated by mood. Like, really, for me, it's all dictated by my mood.
Yes.
I wear my most favorite things, my best things all the time. I never keep anything away during the day, at night, whatever. But what's really interesting with the youth of today, I wanted to ask you guys, both of you, they really just throw it all on. I mean, they mix and match and they pile it all on, and they don't really care. I don't even understand if they know the value of things. Do they really care about the value of things? But it's interesting to see the way natural diamonds are sort of, I mean, there are boys' best friends now. There are girls' best friends. Everybody's best friends.
I just finished shooting a show with one of my best friends, Gigi Hadid. And I've never seen somebody use jewelry the way she uses it. Like, she will wear, let's say, for example, sweats and a t-shirt at 7 o'clock in the morning when we turn up to set, but she's dripping in all of her favorite jewelry. It doesn't nothing matches, but she doesn't care. She wants to celebrate the jewelry, and so she will throw on stuff that I would never think of putting together. Sometimes it's not even natural diamonds. Sometimes it's, I don't know, something wooden, something acrylic. It doesn't matter as long as it makes her feel like she's stacked.
But do they really? My slight fear in this whole thing is, do they even really educate themselves? Like, you know, walking to museums, seeing the pharaonic jewelry or the Byzantine, coming with ideas. I mean,
I think when the right time comes and when they start to understand, they will educate themselves. But
or maybe
it's
they buy it themselves and they
Yeah.
buy sort of stones and jewels. You know, then they'll
I
choose to.
think, here's my honest answer, Hanut. I think a lot of the younger generation, Gigi is a different category, I guess, because she can afford to select all of her jewelry herself and purchase all of her jewelry herself. So I think her decisions are very much considered. I think the younger generation, I'm assuming a lot of them wearing costume jewelry, so it's easy throwaway. So I don't think they really care as much about the craftsmanship as long as it looks good in an Instagram post. But I would like to believe when they get older, and I'm guilty of that, but as I got older and I started to buy my own jewelry, I think that's when they really start to embrace.
That's when it's sort of
the passion behind it.
Yeah.
But I have to say, I do love the mix and match, even when you're dealing with amazing materials. I only mix and match. So I'm wearing the ear cuff here with the natural diamond drop. And then over here, I'm wearing the earring that goes in the lobe.
Oh, yeah.
So I never do the same. And
Right.
even if you're dealing with amazing high jewelry or whatever value, I encourage, like, don't take yourself too seriously. Don't really, because in the end, it's for you. Like, there's no rules anymore, and there shouldn't be rules.
Yeah.
No, it's your passion, your fun, your interest.
Sometimes it feels kind of sexy and subversive to have something high-end like or fine jewelry like a natural diamond that no one ever gets to see. Like, sometimes when I'm wearing it under something, I don't know what it is. There's a certain power that comes with that you don't have to show it off.
Yeah, it's also what I said about like having tea with your family at 5 and just wearing like your most incredible necklace, and you're like, you're doing it for yourself, and you're like right there with your kids, you know, having tea.
Yeah,
love that.
I feel like jewelry is one of those things that's like touching your skin. It's the first thing, it's the most intimate thing on your body. It's bound to have that stuff has got to have energy, you know.
Look at our astrological stones. All of mine are astrological stones. I mean, and now I love adding on to them, astrology or not. But in India, for example, it has to touch our skin, or the sun rays have to come in and sort of spark something.
I think the beauty of what we have now with social media is that we get to see how people in other countries use style and jewelry. I'm always fascinated by, I have an audience in India and Pakistan, and it's interesting seeing how they're using jewelry. That traditional mix with the Western mix, I think, is gorgeous. I'm always curious, and I get so much inspiration from other countries and other nations when I'm looking at jewelry. I think it's beautiful to be able to reference them when you're building.
Do you style Indian jewels with the people?
So often on the red carpet, it's very rare I will wear Western style. You will only usually wear Indian or Pakistani.
Yeah, I've seen that. And then jewelry, what do you tend to do, Tan? Like right now, is it more sentimental for you?
It is. I haven't borrowed jewelry in a little while, and no shade to anyone who borrows jewelry, wonderful for you. I want to feel like I worked hard for it. So I'm going to give you information that I've never told anyone. Every time I shoot a new season, I get a new job, I get a new show, I will buy myself a piece of jewelry that...
Me too.
Yeah,
it's like
I love
something great. You should treat yourself, and I never see it as excess. I just think it's an investment piece. At some point, I want to give this to my child. My son hopefully will love these pieces in 20, 30 years' time. And so I'm very considered in how I buy my jewelry, when I buy my jewelry, and then how I use it. And so when you see me in public wearing something, it usually is something I've purchased that means something to me. And when I wear South Asian jewelry, sometimes it's my mom, sometimes it's my sister. Like my mom had a dowry, so did my sister. And sometimes I'll borrow those pieces for me to share with the world. And I take such pride in that. I really do. There aren't that many South Asians in Hollywood, and there aren't that many South Asian men in Hollywood who get to walk major red carpets. And so every time I have the honor of being able to go to them, I just think I want to celebrate my culture too. And so that's why I so often wear the pieces that make me feel just really proud to be South Asian.
Yeah. And Anna, for you, is there any piece that has like this meanings and metaphors, and someone has worn it for a very special feeling? Or you yourself, if you wear something?
I think it's seriously hard to choose, but I would say something that I worked with for so long is the earpieces. I have been working with the earpieces for a very long time, and the way we wear it and the way we do them, it's so different from anything we've seen. But
I'm wearing one in your honor.
I saw it. Thank you.
Do you pull from, are you Brazilian, did you say?
Yeah, I was born in Brazil.
Do you pull from your culture when you design ever?
I think there's no way to separate things anymore. I think it's all in our background, in our, in our life and our culture. And there's no way to say like, no, I don't go there, because it's all subconscious, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I do. I don't think of Brazil as like, when I'm creating something like this is a Brazilian thing, but I think it's all in Basel, kind of all together with the way I was brought up. I left Brazil, I was 10, and then I went back, and then I came back. I mean, I'm not in the US right now, but I've been living in New York the last 10 years, and before almost 10 years, then I moved to London, but it's been an ongoing thing. And I'm sure I'm influenced by the amazing Brazilian culture. Yeah. And the indigenous people, and how they would, work with the body and adorn. But I do like experimenting on the body. I even took acupuncture to see like where to go and not go, and where. But yeah, I think I would wait for you to wear my pieces and tell me which one is your favorite.
Soon, Anna, I hope.
All of you.
Yeah.
Love to.
Love that. Coming to people who style their jewelry beautifully, Dan, I want to ask you, do you think there's a style icon when it comes to styling their diamonds very well?
I think there are so many that do a beautiful job. However, I think that Hailey Bieber is one of my favorites right now. I think her style is incredible. She chooses her jewelry really specifically. Her stylist is Carla Welch, who's an American icon. And I think that they together create beautiful accompaniments to the clothing. I saw Hailey Bieber recently. She guested on our show, and she turned up wearing something so simple. It was just a beautiful black, simple number, but it was the jewelry and the diamonds in particular that brought her look to life. So I think she's really considered in how she styles her jewelry, and I don't think it's just I've got a simple look and I've got to bling it up. I think she's really, really considerate about what she puts on her body.
Yeah. I love Carla Welch, and I think she's for styling jewelry. I agree with you 100%. She's amazing.
I think for a lot of stylists, Anna, the jewelry is okay. The dress looks nice for, I don't know, the Oscars or whatever, but we need to we need more bling. We need the cameras to catch the light. I don't think Carla works that way. I think she just thinks this is the outfit, but it's not an outfit without all of these pieces.
Yeah.
And they coexist. And I think that's the beauty of what a great stylist does.
Yes, she's great.
And Hanut, who do you think styles their jewelry and diamonds?
Well, I've had so many wonderful women globally wear my stuff, so it's difficult. But one that really stands out for me is the inimitable and really super duper chic Diane von Furstenberg. I mean, she is a woman who has lived life. She has the most spectacular personal jewelry. I've been privileged to sit, and she dragged me and we sat down. She opened her safe. She showed me all her own jewelry. I was thrilled to see my pieces nestled amongst, and she has the greats. And she wears them with flair, with aplomb. She loves jewelry. She has great personal style. Her homes are beautiful. Her clothes are lovely. She herself is radiant. And she loves her jewelry. And she just, for me, she's really superb, like the tops.
What are you wearing today? I'm very curious to see your jewelry.
I'm wearing
see
my natural double diamond ring, which are these old Golconda diamonds that I inherited.
What's on your wrist, Hanut?
I inherited some, and then I now buy.
Wow.
When I make some money, I buy in New York. I have these lovely dealers, and I buy these sculptural gold bracelets. I wear one all the time, and then I have my astrological stones, which are
Yeah, show us your necklace.
So I wear these are these are
Yeah.
they're all my diamonds. I wear a pearl for my mother. I wear rubies and emeralds, and each of them is mounted with an old mine. I'm obsessed with old mine diamonds. So each of them is mounted with an old mine diamond, and this I wear all the time.
I love that.
I love it too.
Yeah. If each one of you had to give advice to someone who's trying to embrace their true self in style, what would you say?
Be yourself. Express and be yourself.
Ignore the trends. I couldn't care less about what's trendy now. And just try on as much as possible and find your own style. The only way you're going to find your style is by trying on. So don't get stuck online, and don't try and be whoever the hot thing is right now.
And don't be imitative. It's so lame.
Yeah. And have fun. Have fun. You know, have fun with everything.
Have fun. I think
especially your jewels.
Yeah.
Especially your natural diamonds.
Yeah.
Especially.
Now, I think the more you start thinking about it, you overthink it, and then you're like, nah, that's not for me. That's not my body type. This is not good for my neck, you know? I think
the younger generation don't really care anymore, frankly, in a wonderful manner. I don't think they have the same. So we are slightly older, and we may have a sort of a
not me, Hanut. I'm only
confined
21.
viewpoint. The younger ones, I think, are having a blast and made it sort of like percolate everywhere.
I was just going to say, Hanut, I couldn't agree more. I think the younger generation is really going to teach us a thing or two. I think we're so set in our ways. The older generations, when it comes to the expectations of how we dress and how we present ourselves, I do like that the younger generation is a lot more experimental.
Hanut and Anna, my next question is for you. I would love to know, how do you approach natural diamonds in your jewelry?
I use diamonds in everything that I do. It's such an illuminator. It adds, apart from the heightened glamour, the sort of the luxury of it all, it's also, it just highlights everything that you do. So I love using natural diamonds in everything that I do, in different sizes, from the pavé settings to sort of the more important stones. And where I have the most fun in my jewelry, because I do everyday wearable jewelry. So if a client wants me to do specific special commission work, and I'm allowed to play and source and find sort of natural diamonds of large sizes, and that is like such an absolute thrill.
And Anna, for you?
Well, for me, I think there's nothing like natural diamonds. I think not only what Hanut said about the light, but also how rare it is, how special it is to have this being shaped on Earth for so long, and the rarity and the sizes. And I mean, it's not out of nowhere that these pieces are everyone's favorite, right? Or almost up there with some colored stones. I wear it almost, I use diamonds in almost every piece, even from, for almost all the pieces in the high jewelry work, the one of a kinds or the edition ones. And I do feel like there is this magic around diamonds that it's hard to surpass, that it's hard to There's nothing like it.
Well, I think that was a really lovely conversation. Tan, Hanut, Anna, you've added so much to this conversation by telling us about how to find your true style, what diamonds can do to it, how it's that last finishing touch that actually cinches the whole look together. And, diamonds are the thing that touch us, at all times, and they bring out our personality, and it's so important what you choose and how you considered and carefully pick something. And we learned that from each one of you today. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Such a privilege.
Thank you, Tan. Thank you, Hanut. Thank you so much for all the Vogue India team. And it was such a pleasure. Lovely.
Yeah, thank you for having us. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.